Is this some sort of ploy like?
You're listening to Off-Road Garage Podcast, and here are Jason and Jim.
And we're live.
What's the word, brother?
You know, the usual.
Yeah?
Doing my thing. Special guest tonight.
Special guest, pretty excited.
Yeah?
I'd say the queen of Overland in Michigan, even though she's not a Michigander. We'll go ahead and give her that title.
Seems like she's in the state enough.
Cindy Pope. Yeah, she's up north more than I am.
Yeah.
Cindy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. I know you do more than just Overland, so you want to give a real quick intro of what we're talking about here, what we got going on?
Sure. Yeah. Well, Overland is pretty much like the gist of it. I quit my full-time job last year and concentrating on events and media and things like that. I also like to canoe, kayak, mountain bike, and camp as often as I can. I have a husband and 2 dogs.
All the outdoor things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living the
All
life.
the things.
I love it.
So does he come with you, or you leave him at the house and say, I'm gone, take care of the dogs?
He hates camping.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
At least he's supportive of your addiction.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
In fact,
helpful.
he was one. Yeah, he encouraged me to quit my job and follow my dream. And he works the restaurant industry weekends, so it kind of works out that I get to go do the stuff he doesn't care to do while he's at work.
That's actually
Yeah.
almost perfect, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You utilize your time like that.
So you obviously listen to the show a little bit. You do the kayaking canoe thing. You've heard that episode with Kelly.
That was a great episode. That was awesome.
We're trying to kind of make the keep it in the garage as much as possible, but show the outdoor lifestyle involved with off-roading as well. And that's kind of one of the things that we got you on for, because you're not just a builder or a wheeler. You do a lot of big events and help support conservation of stuff. And you want to touch on your magazine real quick? Talk about that.
Oh, sure, yeah. I started that. Thank goodness for the pandemic, right? I actually had time.
You're the
I couldn't do it.
first positive I've heard, but okay, I'll take it.
It's funny. I seriously, if it wasn't for the shutdown, I would have been doing events and not really had time to concentrate on another project. And I've been wanting to do something like that for a long time and had people telling me, oh, you need to do something like this. So I started it, and my gist, or the whole kind of focus of it, is overland and overland adventure activities. I just kind of realized that people that like to go off-road, like 90% of them also are into kayaking, they're into mountain biking, they're into snowshoeing, they're into this and that.
Right.
And historically, the off-road or motorsports community and the silent sports community have had their own publications and whatnot, and communities. But I think this is kind of bringing that all together, because we all enjoy those activities, and a lot of times we do it at the same time.
Right. I mean, because I saw your last trip or 2 trips ago, you went up north to the UP, and you had your paddle boards with you.
Yeah, I had 2 paddle boards, actually.
So you're able to go find the better, more pristine water.
Yep, some private places. It's fun to go to public places, too, in case it's windy and wavy, and you might want to get rescued, but yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that's very cool. And like you said, there's a tie-in between, did you call them silent sports, the kayaking and mountain biking?
Yep. There's actually a publication, a magazine, like a paper magazine, called Silent Sports, and it covers Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, pretty much upper Midwest for, mountain biking, trail running,
Stupid.
things like that.
Trail running. Ugh.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
go ahead.
So there's I've noticed there's a tie-in. Like for me, I hunt, fish, camp, mountain bike, kayak, do all that mess. I'm trying to get into rock climbing right now. So I use my Jeep to get me those places. But there's also a little bit of headbutting when some of the silent sports don't like us in the woods because we make noise. Have you noticed that at all in your travels?
I'm the guy who makes noise.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that, because our base camp host, his name is John, up for KOAR.
Okay.
We were talking about that rift, and basically we came to the conclusion that people that do the mountain biking, a lot of them have a dim view of motorsports. But what gets them up to Copper Harbor to mountain bike? It's a car.
Right.
What gets them in the shuttle vehicle to the top of Brockway to run all those trails? It's
Right.
a van. And there's a lot of people that do enjoy silent sports, but they also enjoy the motorsports. And I think we just need to, I don't know, we all need to get along, and we all need to work together to preserve access. And we can, just by using trail etiquette, we can coexist, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
It's huge. And, like, for me, I've got property up in the Rose City area we go to. It's family property. I go to the UP a lot. I ride dirt bikes. I ride mountain bikes. There is something to be said for the pristine, right? When I'm out in the woods and I hear the crickets and the cicadas and the whatever, it's amazing. Versus hearing some dude getting on it in a two-stroke in the woods and burping through the woods.
Does it seem like it's always that way?
Right.
Whenever you want it to be quiet, there's some guy and the thing that you love to do.
Right.
You're like, God, couldn't you just take that somewhere else?
Right. But then the same token is I've been that guy.
Right. You've been that guy, like, ripping through the trail, like, this is amazing.
I'm having
And
such a great day. So
meanwhile, 100 feet away is that guy looking for silence.
right. So you've got to be able to
Just
balance
switch feet.
the respect of everybody's enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's state land, not your land.
Right.
Right.
And it's kind of a hard thing to do because it's everybody's land.
Right.
And I don't want mountain bikers not to have access because I want a Jeep.
We all have to get along in the same
Right.
box.
But I don't want to be kicked out of there because I have a dirt bike.
Right. Don't take my toys.
Right.
Right.
So
we don't need to exclude anybody. I think that, there are appropriate uses for some areas. The Copper Harbor bike trails, you're not going to find any Jeeps on those trails.
Right.
But you might find hikers. And again, there, they have to get along, and there's trail etiquette parameters that dictate your behavior on the trail, when there's, an oncoming bike or a horse or whatever.
Right.
And it's funny because when I've seen these arguments usually on Facebook, it's always the other guy's fault. I was just hiking and this guy came downhill on a mountain bike and almost killed me. Well, you can't hear the bike chattering away coming down the trail. Like, you could have stepped off the trail, right? I mean,
Right.
they're not silent as much as the magazine wants you to believe it. They make some racket.
Oh no, and especially not when I'm riding, because my brakes are squeaking the whole way.
So we know you're coming. You got an air horn on that thing. So you just mentioned KOAR. I don't know if everybody out here knows what KOAR is all about. You want to touch on that?
Oh yeah, KOAR is the Keweenaw Overland Adventure Retreat. This is our third year. There's going to be about 140, 50 people coming up.
Whoa.
Probably about 100 rigs.
Wow.
It sold out in June. I was just floored.
That seems like it's a good year for it, with everyone trying to kind of get away and use their time at home to do the outdoor things.
I think that really had to do something with it, especially, a lot of events were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know.
we didn't cancel KOAR. We waited and held our breath until the UP moved into phase 4, which is outdoor events of up to 250 people are allowed to happen with social distancing. So we made that benchmark back in June too. But just the nature of our event, like all the campsites at Trails End are by nature socially distanced. There's trees between many of the campsites, and they are spaced. And we felt that we could do things in a socially distant way, keep everybody safe. We have like contactless check-in, on your phone.
Very cool.
Just things, the facility is, installing hand sanitizers and upping or, increasing their frequency of cleaning. And we did some other changes to help us, not have common touch surfaces, not, be in enclosed areas with each other. It's going to be outside. We're going to have a PA so people don't have to crowd in when we gather. Okay. We'll be able to be pretty casual and distant. And then, of course, with the program, basically we have some vendors that are there that support us. Oh, man, can I thank the vendors on the air?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my gosh, these people are amazing. this will take just a second, but TC Teardrops out of Wausau, Wisconsin, Todd and Carol Mauer have been amazing supporters from the get-go here. They're our title sponsor. We've got some vendors that are coming. XJPO at Explore Journey Prepared Overland is my buddy Chris. He'll be there. Artemis Overland Hardware from Springfield, Missouri is coming up. They were there last year.
That's a hike.
Yeah, they had a great time, though. Aaron sent one of the guys that worked for him at the time up with some stuff to sell, and his name was Bo, I believe. Oh, man, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway.
Unprepared guess.
It's Logan.
Don't worry about it, Cindy. I do it all the time.
Logan? All right, we got it.
He's probably not listening. But anyway, the second day of the event, he's like, this has been totally worth it. We're so excited. They sold a lot of really cool stuff. Then Chi-Town 4x4 out of Carroll Springs. They do a lot of Toyota builds.
Okay.
Sell a bunch of overland stuff. Adventure Trailer out of Clintonville, Wisconsin. The Shutt Industries, they're a division of Shutt Industries that makes military trailers. We're so thrilled to have them there. Local business Auto Pro Glass and Tire in Hancock. Rocktown Adventures in Rockford, Illinois is bringing up some kayaks. We have Great Life Brand out of Ludington, Michigan. They have a lot of cool T-shirts and things. And True North Outpost in Norway, Michigan. They're coming up. They do rafting, kayaking, climbing, mountain bike rentals.
Okay.
They're a really cool store there.
Are they part of that's True North is a couple of those stores, right? Is that same chain or different names?
There's True North Outpost, and that is owned by Austin, Nate, and managed by Evan. They are in Norway. They are their own thing. There is a True North cabin that I follow up in the Keweenaw, and they are not associated with each other, and I believe they are, each and of their own, just a one-off,
Okay.
But it is a little confusing. Sometimes I go to tag one and I accidentally tag the other. But and then, Jeremy from New Holland. We got Keweenaw Mountain Lodge, G3 Fabrication, More Expo, Rugged Bound Supply Company for exploring, and then Tread Lightly, all coming in with support and sponsorship. So I'm really thrilled about all the people that just kind of like, hey, this is a cool thing. It's a community. It's a family reunion of sorts, and they come out and drove to support it. So I'm super thankful for that.
Yeah.
Well, you've got some rad sponsors for sure.
Yeah, that was real cool.
We know Jeremy personally, and I've been following AT for Adventure Trailers for a long time. They make some cool stuff.
Oh man, I was trying to get an Adventure Trailer to bring that Jason Momoa from the Aquaman thing.
Yeah.
He bought one of those Adventure Trailers to pull behind his global expedition vehicle.
Really?
But yeah, I guess they don't have a contact with him really that's going to bring him out to KOAR. But
I thought you wanted to be the delivery. Like, here it is, sir. Here's your trailer.
I totally would, yeah.
Pulled great the whole way here.
I think you need some help setting this up.
Right.
Here, let me show you.
Yeah. Set it all. Let me demo it for you.
So we've heard about all your great sponsors. We've heard about how clean the event's going to be. What is the event? I mean, just hanging out and camping, or?
Yeah, well, we hang out, we camp. No overlanding will be attempted at the Keweenaw Overland Adventure Retreat. It's a base camp event. I've encouraged people over the years, come and use our event as a base camp for yourself. Go out and do whatever you want, or we'll go out in groups and do some rides. We'll, go down to High Rock Bay at Keweenaw Rocket Range, do some stuff. We're also going to, new this year, have a scavenger hunt. We have a sponsor here, Rugged Bound Supply Company. They have donated a 270-degree awning.
Ooh.
And we're gonna give that away as the grand prize for that scavenger hunt. A lot of people go out on their own. They've been up there before, or they feel like they need to find such and such a place, and then they go out. But a lot of groups get together and go out for trail rides. And then in the afternoon, we get back together. And let me see here on the schedule. We've got a bunch of clinics and demos, basic trail communications, advanced trail communications, remote work communications. We got some Tread Lightly demos or talks going on, if you will. We got some trail mechanics demos and clinics happening, some navigation, some cooking demos. And then we got Austin and Evan from True North. They have a couple of vans that they've converted to an overland
nice
type of thing, and they're going to do some van life Q&As.
Van life.
Van life is where it's at, dude. I checked the wrong box. I should be living in a converted F-350 right now.
E350, my man.
Dude, I so was tempted by the van life. I really was. But, yeah.
There's a four-wheel drive one not far from here.
Yeah,
at a shop I know. Four-wheel drive converted diesel.
For sale?
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's for sale.
No, well, don't tell me about it.
But it had you all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was E350 diesel, four-wheel drive, kitted out.
That's my new photo rig, man.
Yeah.
I can go up to KOAR and be the photographer.
There you go.
Right. Well, speaking of photographers, we've got in the evening after it gets dark, we have a guy that's going to host like a little astrophotography session, if you will.
Nice. That's very cool.
Yeah. There's some really dark skies there at the Brockway Mountain Overlook, and also at Hunters Point Park. And he said, "I'm not a professional, and I can't tell people what to do, but I might be able to help people out." And I figured there's enough people interested that the pool of knowledge there, people can help each other and get a good opportunity. Because we were up there 3 weeks ago, and he was taking pictures of the Milky Way. And one of the other guys with us said, "Hey, what's that on your camera?" The dang Northern Lights.
Nice.
Just popped up. So he turned the camera around because he was shooting the Milky Way south, and he turned around. Sure enough, there were some Northern Lights there, and it was only for about 10 minutes, but boy, it was gorgeous.
That's totally worth it, though.
Yeah, that's on the bucket list of things to see.
I went up on purpose to photograph the Northern Lights and the Milky Way.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at the calendar, and it was a full moon week.
Oh.
So all I got was washed out sky. I was like, it's still beautiful, and I'm up north, but no shots of the stars.
No preparing.
Should probably look at that.
There's going to be a new moon at KOAR, so it's going to be great.
It'll be very dark. Wow. Everybody can use all their light bars and everything they want to use.
All the LEDs. Yeah. All the lumens.
Well, that's another fun thing that we're having is Chi-Town 4x4 does a light the night shootout. So they line everybody up, and they've got a light meter, and they measure the output. And last year, I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring with my stock JK headlights, and I lost. So I got last prize.
Stock JK headlights. That's like 2 candle power.
Yeah.
I know. Well, the cool thing is at the end of the whole weekend, Joe from Chi-Town was like, "Hey, Cindy, you lost. You had the worst headlights, but thank you for putting this on." And they gave me a set of Vision X headlights. Wow. I know, it was just amazing. I was super happy.
I see your plan, Cindy. I like it.
Right.
You show up there with 2 lit candles.
Oh, I'm so...
The guy with the Model T barely lost. He lost to him.
It's like, I'm so pitiful. Oh, I'll take care of you. I got you. Here you go.
Yeah, here you go.
It wasn't my plan, but it worked out even better than if I had planned it.
Hold on. Okay, got it. A critter crawling across the desk.
Big old critter on the desk freaking us out.
Disregard.
Uh-oh.
Anyway.
We smushed him. He's gone.
He's no longer with us.
Right. So that sounds like an actual pretty killer event. And that's another thing I've seen starting to go a lot more with
activities.
Overland is photography. It goes well with it because you can get out into the quiet places and see more things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons I use my Jeep is to get way out there.
It definitely sounds like a great event for especially people getting into it because it sounds like you got the whole, like the starter pack. Like you just got to show up with something relatively, adventurous vehicle.
Right.
And you're, can listen to all these people and get all the advice. And I like those kind of events too because you got like experienced people who've been on those trails. So like you said, you can get in with a group and go exploring in a place you've never been before. So you have a little more confidence. You know you're going to be all right. Get your feet wet.
When GPS gives out on you, yeah.
Yeah, what to do when GPS gives you the circle of death.
There's no cell service up there.
Yep.
What? How could that be?
There are a lot of seasoned veterans though that come. The first year, somebody pulled up in a global expedition vehicle, and I about had my jaw dropped to the floor. I didn't realize they were that big, and they've been everywhere. And now we've got 3 of them coming this year.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Those are impressive.
Showing up my TJ with my pup tent might be a little bit undergunned then.
But you might have
You'd
more fun.
still have-
Yeah.
Oh, you'd still have a great time. You do.
It's all about the
They
experience.
do too, so.
It's hard to have a bad time up there. I mean, Keweenaw is one of my favorite places on the planet.
Right, and it's hard to take a bad picture up there.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is very photogenic up there. It's waterfalls or mountains or seashores, all you see, or lakeshore, I guess would be a more appropriate term.
Yeah, it kind of acts like a sea, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, she can be angry, that's for sure. But
A little bit.
like that one spot you posted recently that I knew where it was at, right off rip. Sent you the PMs about it. I love that spot, and it's one of my favorite places to camp because it's secluded, it's quiet, it's protected, but like you said, it's just a great getaway.
Yeah, it was amazing to camp there last weekend. It is gorgeous, and some of the other spots that are more well known, some not very good things are happening there.
Yeah, we talked about that in the DMs we were talking about with, and it's kind of a hard thing to argue because like I appreciate the fact that more people can see it, but I hate the fact that they're making it a dirt road, gravel road to get back there, like to High Rock Bay, like for example. Well, the first time I was there, it was a tough trail to get back out there. It was a 2-track with like a river crossing. It was serious. I went out there last time I was up there about a year ago, and there was a minivan out there.
Yeah, if you pick your lines and go through those puddles, just about anybody can make it out there.
When I was out there, it was dry, no puddles, no problem. It was actually kind of ridiculous. There was a guy out there with a camper, like a Class C motorhome with a generator running, and I'm out there on High Rock Bay trying to hear Lake Superior shore crashing, and I hear a generator running.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So, like, I appreciate the fact that he wants to see it, but like you said, in turn, by the fact they're making it more accessible, they're kind of ruining the whole reason that I go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go there to escape from generators and
Yeah. City
screaming
noise.
children. And,
Yeah.
it's funny. I found this site, dangerousroads.org, and the Mandan Road, High Rock Bay Road is on that
Really?
website. Yeah.
Maybe it used to be,
although
but last time I was there, I
does-
needed 4-wheel drive.
That's no fun. I want 4-wheel drive places. I don't want to like take the minivan.
We could sleep
Yeah.
in the minivan, though. We could be overlanders.
Is that
true.
how it works?
I think
That was a pretty rough dirt road. No, that's not really.
So that was dangerousroads.org. You said that actual road's on there.
I'll just leave that.
if you Google Dangerous Roads High Rock Bay, you'll find it.
Okay, I'll check that out when we're off
It's
there.
kind of silly.
Maybe in December, January.
Dangerous roads.
You know.
For a Fiesta.
30 inches of snow, though, will change the game.
Now we're starting to
300.
get lively. Now
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now you got my attention again.
It's just like going back to Chris Point Lighthouse. There's that sign on the left side of the trail, the northern side of the trail. It says on this spot in whatever year, Michigan State Police rescued 2 sisters that were lost for like 4 days, stuck in the snow, that survived off of Thin Mints and Cheetos.
We survive off that often when we go.
Right. Voluntarily.
I thought that's what you eat. Oh. Throw in some beef jerky for protein,
Right.
and we're good.
I'm looking forward to hearing about
don't
that,
they say-
that
don't they
cooking
say
demo.
oh yeah. I think it's going to be cast iron or the Dutch oven stuff.
Ooh. That's fun. I haven't used a Dutch oven in a long time. I used to be the masterpiece of the Dutch ovens, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I should say
Really?
I live off Thin Mints and Cheetos. You're like the trail chef.
Yeah.
Out of both of us, dude's killer. I still think
in
about your fajitas.
You've been up in your game, have you?
I have been. I used to just bring stuff to throw, stuff wrapped in foil to throw on the campfire. But last year at KOAR, I got interested in this Keweenaw Mini, and it's super cool. It's just like this little cast iron, like ceramic coated cast iron pan, or you can use a grate on the stove and put a pot on it. But it's perfect. It's like great for. I've made like shepherd's pie and like hash casserole, and yeah, it makes it easy. It's compact. It's small. I need very small items because I don't have tons of room in the Jeep, and it's a really, really fun little thing. And the only other thing I take with is the rocket stove to make hot water for coffee and stuff like that.
Oh, like an MSR pocket rocket, something like that.
Exactly. I got the MSR pocket rocket too, I believe.
I love that stove. This is a kind of a rad little guy. It's like I'm looking at your Conveyor right now. I had to Google it, so you're talking about.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, it's got a cover on it. It does brown things, like bacon, sausage, or whatever. You can fry eggs in it, and it's pretty.
And it's about the size of a phone book. I mean, it's not too big. It doesn't look like.
Yeah, it's maybe thicker. Like, what is a phone book? What decade is it?
Am I dating myself? I guess I'm trying to figure out what we can say the size of.
Yeah, we just lost half the audience.
Yeah, sorry guys. So before you had Google, everybody's phone number was in a yellow book, and it was huge. And you look it up by last name, and it would say Jim Roy, and then you'd have my phone number.
There you go.
That's how you called people.
That is true. And you had to dial it on this like circular dial-y thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really going back. Really going back.
I just dated myself to have our audience. Sorry, guys.
I think you overdated yourself a little on that one, dude. That's
so
like going to grandma's house, maybe.
We got introduced to the Scottle recently.
You did. You killed it.
And that was, well, Chris did most of the cooking. I just had all the cool stuff.
He gave you a general rundown on how to do it, and then let's be real, you killed it.
That's a pretty rad little setup. Have you ever seen one of those?
Oh, absolutely. They are, you'll probably find at least a dozen of them at KOAR, if not more.
I was pretty impressed with the versatility. We were doing fajitas and do the meat in the middle, and then the vegetables around it, and the tortillas on the outside. So it was all in the one spot, and it was all different temperatures, and then you could just eat off the Scottle. No plates, no dishes. It was perfect.
Oh yeah, for tacos that'd work great. Yeah. I see breakfast being made on the Scottle really good too.
Like scrambled eggs in the middle and bacon and toast or something.
Yeah. It's good when you want to feed a whole bunch of people. I would not use a Scottle because I usually travel solo or with my husband sometimes when we go camping, but so yeah, he's camped like once in the last year.
Right.
But yeah, the Scottle's cool, but I think it's too big for what I need. It just it cooks a lot of. I guess I could cook a little bit of food, but it takes a lot more space too. Then
there's a lot more setup involved versus just pulling out your MSR, screwing onto your tank, and firing it up.
Yep.
Because I've actually made decent meals. So we were out salmon fishing one day on the Pier Marquette on the west side of the state, and I packed in some sliced potatoes and a steak, and I cooked it on my MSR pocket rocket.
Nice.
I fed all the guys. I cut it up into strips and gave everybody potato, half a quarter of steak, and some potatoes. So we get warmed up on the river, and it's just a good feeling to have good food versus no offense, but like a backpacker's meal, like a dried meal.
Or a Pop-Tart.
Oh, hey, let's not get crazy.
You could warm up your Pop-Tart on my stove.
That's true.
Have a nice warm Pop-Tart.
That would be good.
Right. So what else? We've covered some core stuff, which sounds rad. We've covered some of your interests, your hobbies, your magazine, Northology. What else? What else we got going on?
Well, I think I'm going to be getting Wisconsin Overland involved with Michigan Overland to do some cleanup stuff. I got some people that are getting some calls into some DNR people, seeing what kind of options there are. They're not having a lot of success, but we may end up just, you know what, we're going to do a bunch of events across the state, and we're going to maybe just do some Facebook events. Hey, come out this weekend. We're going to be going to this place, and we're going to be handing out garbage bags, and we're going to be picking up stuff.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
So, yeah.
So you're not having luck with the state getting back to you, or with getting funding, or what's the problem?
I don't know if we need funding as much as, letting them know what we're doing, any help they could provide, like, garbage bags or where to drop the stuff off. But the couple of people that I've talked to said that they've had, waiting for calls back or emails that aren't answered and things like that. I know probably right now the staffing is pretty short there,
Yeah, that's part of the problem, I'm sure.
but we may just end up doing stuff like that.
Let me get back to you. I used to be big into trail maintenance, where you go back and actually brush the trails and make the trails the proper size for ORV routes in the southern part of Michigan, or in like Oklahoma County. I'll reach out to some of my contacts from that and see if there's any way I can get you in contact with somebody who does that, and then maybe go from there. Because trail maintenance, the weird part about trail maintenance, it'll shock you. I was never meant to pick up garbage. My whole job when I went out was to brush the trails to whatever width the state mandated. So it was like 64 inches wide and 84 inches tall for the ORV routes. They didn't want us picking up trash. Not that we couldn't, but it wasn't part of the grant money. And they wanted us to do signage along the route, ORV route, and then stop ahead routes and signs and stop signs and all that kind of stuff. But maybe if I get somebody from that route and say, hey, we want to go actually remove trash from the woods, can you get us a roll-off, or can you get us a place to put it? That's all we need. Might be able to make that happen.
Yeah, keep me posted. I mean, what do we do about that? I mean, it's just big picture-wise.
Right.
I don't. Yeah. We were talking today on Michigan Overland about people know better, but they still do it.
Well, that's part of the problem. We can bring all the awareness in the world to it, and people are still going to do it. I mean, people are still going to. Nobody wants the idea of packing their poo with them back out of a trail. I mean, I understand it. It's not exactly the most delicious idea, I guess. I don't know.
But you don't need to leave your Cheeto and Thin Mint box on the side of the road.
Right. Or your, what did you call them? Toilet paper tulips?
TP flowers.
Yeah, TP flowers.
Gross.
When you're driving down some of these trails up in northern Michigan, you look out to the right and left, there's no outhouses.
Right.
And you just see this little field of white flowers, which is just TP that people just chucked in the woods.
Yeah, it was terrible at that one place that you and I were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everywhere you went in the woods, there were TP flowers and beer cans and bottles, and there was somebody actually left a bag of poo at the campsite.
That's not cool.
No.
That place is amazing and beautiful and needs to be preserved. But it's also a draw to people who are going out to have a good time and party and be away from law enforcement, because you can't get a cruiser back there.
Right.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But like you said, when I go there, I don't want to see the last 40 parties' poops and flowers and beer cans. I also don't want to pack out their biological waste.
Right.
That's kind of something I won't touch.
Right. That's kind of, but even then, I mean, how hard is it for those people to go dig a hole? I mean, it's not preferred, but it's better than leaving it on topside. And
you clean up after your dog.
Right.
Or maybe those people don't, but it's easy enough to take a dog do bag. And excuse me for being crass, but if you don't feel like digging a hole, you can just pack it out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've got a thing I bought at Walmart. It's a toilet seat on a stool, and you put a garbage bag in it. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to smell it. I mean, bring a half a bag of kitty litter or sawdust with you, and you can cover it up. It's like a dry toilet. And then just bring it out with you and throw it away when you find a garbage can.
Yeah. Problem solved.
Not rocket surgery.
And that's got to be so much more comfortable than just going and taking a squat,
Yeah, much more.
Yeah, I mean, but in general, though, it's the same person who throws their fast food wrapper out the window when they're going down the highway.
Right.
I mean, it's just the general same people that are just pigs.
And I think what Cindy's saying is trying to get the awareness. Like, if you keep doing that here, we're not going to have here.
Right.
The highway gets picked up by highway volunteers. I get it, and it's still terrible.
You said volunteers. They're not volunteers. That's court ordered.
Some are voluntold. Right. But then, like the spot we're talking about, it's nowhere near anything.
Right.
You're
not getting the prison bus out there.
It took me like 40 minutes off the last gravel snowmobile trail to get to this on 2 tracks. It was nasty.
Yeah.
What I signed up for, what I wanted. But then you get out there and you see TP flowers and Bush latte cans everywhere.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
just not-
there is signage out there right now. There are signs that say this area will be closed if people continue to cut trees and if they continue to litter. There are also signs that are they're little posts, right, like where the beach kind of entrance would be off of the dunes,
Yep.
to say no motor vehicles beyond this point.
Yep.
And I continue to see pictures. People will post pictures of them on the beach there, past those signs.
Yep.
And
last time I was up, 3 of the signs had been run over and snapped off at the base. Yeah.
That's not how that works?
No.
You don't. It's not okay if you run over the sign?
No.
Just for clarification.
Yeah. And
I didn't see that. What sign? What are you talking about?
Yeah, and there
The
was
sign under your vehicle.
And there was dirt bike tracks and quad donuts on this little pristine beach in the middle of nowhere.
They're animals.
Yeah.
It's just we deal with animals.
Yeah.
Well, and then just about a month ago at the mouth of the Huron, I was sent pictures of Jeeps and four-wheelers on the beach. They were weaving through people with long beach chairs and kayaks and kids and dogs.
They were not. For real?
Yes, I will send you the pictures.
That is ridiculous.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, there was a guy
No.
trying to jump the sandbar into the river with his boat. There was a Jeep that crossed from the east side to the west side over the river and got stuck in the water. It was a complete crap show.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I know of one legal beach that you can go on in Michigan on an ORV. I don't know of any other place where you can be on the beach with an ORV in the state.
Well, and I've asked people to please send me and highlight the actual statute law that I could refer to for that, and I was sent like 16 pages of legal mumbo jumbo about this or that I couldn't decipher.
State, isn't it a Coast Guard thing too? Like a vehicle in the water?
Could be.
I thought I heard some of that, because I know Drummond Island, that's a big issue of people going off into the water and stuff like that. And I had heard, I could be wrong, someone will have to fact check on that, but I heard it's if they even see a tire in the water off, on the beach or whatever, it's you pay now, do not
Really?
pass glow.
Okay.
You're not
Well, I guess most of the beaches I've seen that I've been to have been signed.
Yeah.
You can't go to the water in Silver Lake anymore.
right. Well, there's
It's
signs.
signed.
I believe there's signs over there in Drummond too.
Okay.
But
So what you're saying,
Well,
Cindy, that people have told you this, and there's no actual law or MCL, Michigan Compiled Law, or MVC, Michigan Motor Vehicle Code, that you can find that it indicates this.
That doesn't mean there isn't one. I just need to be directed to it.
Okay.
yeah,
If that's absolutely true, I would like to have that in my back pocket when people say, well, it doesn't say, or, you're not supposed to. Because like at High Rock and the Rocket Range, I see people out on the beach there as well. So, I don't know.
I think unfortunately social media is a huge
There
part
aren't
to
any
blame for
signs
this.
there.
Right. When I've been guilty, I've driven on the gravel on the end of High Rock because it's not signed. Everything else I've seen is signed. Like when I was at the spot we're talking about, little secret spot, I didn't go out there because there's signs that say don't go fast past this point. I parked my Jeep before those and I camped in the woods right there.
Well, and that's probably more of an innocent mistake. And if people don't know any better and there are no signs, it probably common sense might say it's not something that you probably should do.
Right.
But if they don't know and they aren't able to see, a sign or, some sort of documentation or, legal something in writing, then that behavior won't be, it'll continue.
It'll continue and it'll be hard to enforce, even if the law is legal. Like you said, ignorance of the law is no excuse, but when you get to court and say, Your Honor, nothing signed, I didn't know what the speed limit was, you can kind of get away with it probably. So it's
Can we talk about the speed limit in the Upper Peninsula? Is it the same in Michigan?
as far as...
Well, in Wisconsin, every, 3/4 of a mile, there's a sign that repeats what the speed limit is.
Okay.
When I go to the UP, I can go forever and not see a speed limit sign.
Yeah.
I look down at my GPS, it doesn't tell me there.
I don't. That
I
there's still a
seriously,
speed
there's-
limit. I think wasn't it 55?
It
If
was
there's no
55.
posted?
They recently raised it to 65 or 70 recently.
If there's no posted.
Well, it was 55 if not posted, but for the longest time from like whatever, when you get off at the Sioux across the bridge all the way to like Houghton was 55.
Okay.
So it would take you a day and a half to get across the UP. I think they recently moved it up to 65 or 70 for most of the US 2, which that it would be.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, but like you said, some places overdo it. Like when we were coming through Pennsylvania, you know, our road markers are every mile in Michigan. They were every 10th down there. So it was like 81.1 miles, 81.2 miles. I'm like, really? And it sounds like Wisconsin's got overabundance of speed limit signs, and we're kind of short on them.
Because they
like
keep
you
getting
leave
run
town.
over.
Yeah. You leave town and it'll be posted.
Okay.
And you drive forever. And you're like, am I still going? What was, you don't remember because some of them are 55, some of them are 65.
Right.
It's just annoying that they don't, like they only post it when you're leaving town. And for 75 miles, there's nothing.
And for people that might not have been there, I mean, the UP, once you leave town, she means it. You're leaving any semblance of society, and you're on a 2-lane road in the boonies. Like, I mean, there's a lake on one side usually, and there's a forest on the other side, and there's nothing.
Right.
You might pass a miner's shack here and there, but that's about it, which is why I love it.
Yeah, I'd like to check that stuff out.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
I got 700 hours of sick time, bro.
It's a good call.
That's one of the things I love about the UP. I had a couple of the tech kids that volunteer for KOAR take me over to Frida,
Okay.
to the mill there.
Yep.
And on our way back, after we went exploring and scrambling around, he's like, you couldn't do this anywhere else. If that was in Illinois, they have it fenced off and barricaded and whatnot. But you can go to these historical sites and just wander around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can find them and enjoy them, and if we can preserve them, because I've seen a photo from, I want to say it was UP Jeep thing, UP Jeeper, of an older mine, and they're just throwing trash down the shaft.
Oh, gee. UP Jeeping, that's probably
He's got like an
my buddy
LJ,
Mark.
LJ and an XJ,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Shout out. I got to shout out to Mark. He's awesome. He's a great friend, and he goes on the best adventures. But
I told him I was going to come up and get him all liquored up and record his favorite spot so I can go see him myself.
he does have a lot of good spots, but he will swear you to secrecy, and sometimes he threatens to blindfold you.
That's kind of weird.
I'm sort of cool with it as long as I can take some rad photos when I get there.
Never been there or met the guy, but now you guys got me a little concerned.
Well,
about
like we were talking about, though,
the blindfold thing.
That spot that we're not mentioning it because it's getting destroyed because people are going out there, and like you said, the whole, like that Facebook page or influencers in the wild.
Absolutely. I think that's part of the blame.
Like
no one would even know, like, driving your Jeep or whatever on a beach, and it's because they just want that photo.
Yeah, you want the likes in the photo.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's all it's about.
I'm here for the
They're probably not even
experience.
camping there.
No.
They're going out there, they're having a few beers, they park on the beach, they get their photo, and then they leave.
Right.
And
There is an Instagram account called Public Lands Hate You.
Oh, nice.
They will actually, if they see something irresponsible, they'll message them and say, hey, you're not supposed to do this or that. And most of the time, the person will respond, oh, hey, I didn't know that, thank you. If they respond like, who the heck are you, screw you, blah, 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 he'll put them on notice and he'll say, hey, look at this person doing this. I tried to, this is what you're supposed to do. And they basically ignored it. So it's kind of a cool account. But it will take these influencers and expose them for, not treading lightly to get the photo.
right.
I might have to find that account because I follow the other ones. There's one that's called Influencers in the Wild, and there's one that's called something influencer.
Well, those ones are usually, they're either funny or like a just face palm situation.
Or did they make it?
Or did they die? Like how close are they going to get to the all the way? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
Oops, there you go.
you see the people hopping this fence that say no photos beyond this point, and they're hopping the fence.
that's because every zoo's a petting zoo.
Yeah, once.
one time rule.
So yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, especially now that I'm getting more and more into it and starting to see more. Like it seems like as I start to go to these places that people have known about for a while, they're already wrecked by the time I get there.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be wrecked for Jason's one adventurous kid who wants to come with us at some point. When she's old enough to come, they're going to be gone or fenced off or a paved road out there. Like, a paved road to High Rock.
Right.
Yeah, that's in the works.
Fencing and permits and a guard shack and.
It's going to really kill the whole. At least for me, it's going to kill the whole vibe and the whole ambiance of being on the tip of the state. Can't go any further north. You can see Canada in the distance. Took me half an hour to get there because I needed 4-wheel drive. And now it's going to be a paved road that everybody is out there with their kids screaming and falling off cliffs, and they're mad that the state didn't fence off the cliffs.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're not alone. Like, for everyone listening, I'm sure this isn't just a Michigan problem. I'm sure this is a, like I said, Wisconsin problem. This is a Canada problem. This is a
Utah problem. It's because some of those
it's a worldwide problem.
Instagram photos, I see people are at Arches National Park climbing on 8 bajillion old rocks that are like barely hanging on. Like,
right.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Don't be on it.
Kicking 100-year-old bushes out of the way because they're ruining their shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see people do that all the time at Pictured Rock too. Like, those fences are up for a reason, and I'm up there and I see a family and a dad take his kids over the fence so they can get their picture behind the falls.
Right.
Or they jump up on a miner's castle and get their picture and whatnot.
And that's a sketchy little bridge right there, too. I'm not sure I'd even want to be out there if it wasn't fenced off.
I was just out there not too long ago. I'm like, ooh. My youngest would totally do it, but I was like, no, get away from the edge.
Right.
I'm not, no. Mm-mm.
And then I went on a photography tour with a locally known photographer who does a lot of the Pure Michigan stuff. He actually got permits for us to go, like, around the barriers some places, which is cool and all, but, like, if you see the images that I have, and you want to replicate them, you realize you have to be past the barrier for that to be replicated. So if I share them, knowing that I was legal to be there, the next 1,000 people that see them on Facebook or Instagram doesn't know that I was legal.
Right. Well, you did it.
That's another concern, yeah.
You did it. How come I can't do it?
Just like he has drone shots of places you can't have drones.
Right.
But he got the permitting to do it, to get the shots. And then you go some places there's no drones. It's kind of an issue, all the way around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a bunch of stuff. We've covered KOAR, which sounds rad.
Yeah.
We've covered all your sponsors, all your teammates for KOAR, your associates. You said there was something else you wanted to cover if we had time?
Oh, I just think it's funny, the off-road, the rock crawler versus the overland thing. It's hilarious. And just from my personal experience, I started out going to off-road parks and Jeep camps, and there's trail rides, and there's an obstacle course and stuff like that.
Right.
And from there, we thought, I had a couple friends invite me up to the UP, and we did it from Airbnb to Airbnb, but we, went on trails across the mountains and through the woods, and I thought, this is kind of the thing I really like to do. It was some of the hardest wheeling I'd ever done to date.
Okay.
And it blew my mind. And I think that's just when I realized, I guess this is what overlanding is. And I just started doing it, but with camping,
Yeah.
And I guess, if you want to go to a park and send it hard all day, more power to you. I don't know, I just like to go camping and use it. I guess the Jeep as a means to an end to explore, and we crawl and stuff. We go over some hard stuff. Friends bring their trailers and lose them.
Right.
And then they, just all sorts of crazy stuff. But I don't know. There doesn't have to be a divide. It shouldn't be. Just because we do our rock crawling over a 5-day week doesn't mean it's not rock crawling. We just do some camping in between.
And it depends how you look at it. Some of it can be just as hardcore because now I'm in the middle of the UP. Jason talked about this with me. Like, I'm in the middle of Brockway, or I'm in the middle of the Keweenaw by myself or with one other rig and doing 4-wheel drive stuff. If I break something there's no extraction, versus if you're at a park, you can get the bulldozer come over and drag you out back to your trailer and you're good to go. Yeah. But like you said, we're all kind of in this together. Like, whether or not you like us as overlanders or whether or not you like us as rock crawlers, we need to come together as an off-road family to protect access to places that can get shut down. Because Some of these places that are parks might be in a prime real estate location. They want to sell it for houses. Some of these trails are going to get shut down because people are abusing it. We're all on the same team.
Exactly.
And a lot of that
Especially
will go
when-
for bikers and quads and all side-by-sides. I mean, we all kind of bicker, but once the Jeep trails get closed down and we all start riding bikes too, or quads, then the quad trails are going to go next, and now they're getting abused. So we all got to be in this together and fight for conservation for use.
Yeah.
Right, and especially like think about this: like in 5 years, what if all dispersed camping is gone?
Right.
It's a possibility.
It's a very real possibility, and the current state of affairs with the Rona and folks wanting to get out of the house, it's almost pushing that, because everything, if you go to a store, at least by us, there's no kayaks on the shelves. There's no paddles on the shelves.
There's no kayaks. There's no RVs for sale.
Mountain
There's
bikes.
no boats for sale. There's no... Yeah, they're all cleaned out.
Which means hopefully in 21 I can score a boat and an RV for cheap.
Oh, dude.
There's going to be a sale.
Maybe not in 21, but by 22,
Yeah.
when
Everything's normal, hopefully.
it's not as nice as it used to be, it's now becoming expensive.
Yeah, so like I was talking with some guys earlier, and I think I was talking to you as well. Like, there's more possibility for advocacy if people start to see the places that are being destroyed. If you see how beautiful even High Rock is, it's now more accessible. Yeah, I want everybody in Michigan to see that, to realize that's part of our state. But I don't want everybody out in Michigan to go out there and take a poop on it. You know, that'd be a lot of dookies to deal with.
It is really bad at High Rock.
Is it?
Really bad. Yeah.
And being that it's
very-
such acrid, rocky soil, it ain't going to go nowhere.
Nope.
Ew. Ew.
That's why there are some places that I only go in the off season or during the week, just because they're so crowded. I mean,
Right.
you guys, like Copper Harbor was nuts last weekend. There were so many people. It was packed. The stores, the parking lots, everywhere was packed. There was like 50 ATVs at the Mariner.
Really?
Yeah, and then the wife of the base camp owner told me that, this is nothing. It could be way worse. But it was so busy. And the shop owners and things, or people are saying that every weekend is like a holiday weekend because of the Rona.
Well, I mean, part of me is
That's what I
like
heard.
very, very grateful for it, because that means all the shops are going to stay open. You know, other places aren't
They would
going to
be
have small
hurting
business.
if everyone was locked down and couldn't travel
Yeah.
and do the stuff that they're doing.
But
for sure.
I'm
But
sure
yes.
the
the flip
the
side-
shop owners are sick of the trolls at this point.
Yeah.
Well, there are some shop owners in Copper Harbor that instead of dealing with, the social distancing and the masks and the risk,
Yeah.
they just close shop.
Okay. Which could be a nail in the coffin for them,
It could be, yeah.
especially if you rely on these 3 months to make your sales for the year. You know, I talked to Dr. Deathwobble, who was up in the Munising area actually recently, staying in Baraga, I believe, or just south of Munising somewhere.
Yeah, he's just around there. Yeah.
And he's like, it was weird. I saw hundreds of cars. I didn't see people anywhere. They hiked all of Munising Falls and didn't see another person.
Really?
And last time I was there, he said the parking lot was full, though. So I'm like, I don't know where these people are at, because last time I was there, you couldn't get a picture on the falls without people in the shot.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe they were all on the boat tour.
Yeah, I mean, when I was up there, like, the beaches were full.
Okay.
But yeah, like, the actual, like, putting in effort to see things, there was very few people.
Yeah.
So maybe
know.
that's not part of it.
I mean, it could be. It's a great thing that, like I said, it's a great thing for advocacy, but I hope it's not just the check it off my bucket list. I got the Instagram photo. I made the hashtag Munising Love, and I'm out. Like,
Right.
and I pooped all over everything.
And I geotagged everything.
Well, everyone's
Right.
doing, like, those DNA tests and everything, so someone could really get scientific and trace it back to them.
Here's your
And
ticket.
we could mail it back to them.
Here's your poop ticket. Yeah. And that's kind of a weird thing, too. So you brought it up. We'll talk about it. I'm seeing this a lot more and tags, like hashtag tag responsibly, keep Michigan pure, or hashtag tag responsibly, keep Colorado pure, or whatever.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, places are being loved to death. And I think part of what we do as overlanders, quote unquote.
Car campers.
Car campers, explorers. We like to go discover things. Well, I think we should be. I really, one thing that really irritates me, somebody will come on a group, whether it's Wisconsin Overland or Michigan Overland or Illinois Overland or whatever, and they're like, hey, I'm going to be here. Give me some routes and give me some good camp sites. Give me some pins.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, when I started doing it, I just observed. I would look at pictures. I would look at the map. I would say, hey, this place looks cool. I wonder how I can get there. I did ask a few people here and there, discreetly. And I don't, really don't like to share it publicly. If somebody asks me in a personal message and I know them, or I'm familiar with them and their ethics, I might share it.
You wouldn't tell me where you were at until I showed you a picture of me there.
Exactly. Now, see, I'm true to my word, man, and I tell you,
And I was trying to be as vague as I could in that question. I was like, "Are you over here?" You're like, "I don't know what you're talking about, Jim." So I sent her a picture of my Jeep in the same spot her Jeep was at, and my video, like, "Here's me." She goes, "Oh yeah, that was the same spot." I'm like, "I know."
I knew we were.
Well, I didn't know if it was the same spot. I didn't want to say, "Oh yeah," I don't know. It's just.
I didn't want to say the name of it and ruin it because I knew you were trying to be kind of like discreet.
It's just podcasters in general. We're mostly BS anyway.
Right.
I wouldn't trust us either.
Right.
I found her video. She's like, "Wow, good eye." I'm like, "I know. I've been there. I like that spot." So did you hear my story about that spot?
I don't remember. I would love to hear it again if I had.
So I went to High Rock, and so the people kind of know the area at least. I was in Keweenaw. I'll tell them that much. It's in the Keweenaw. And High Rock was the day. It was the weekend that guy was over with the camper with the RV with the generator running. So I got my obligatory High Rock photos, and I was like, I want to camp by the water. That's why I'm here. So I started driving around, and I had my GPS, so like it wouldn't tell me where I was at, but I can kind of get an idea of the shape of the Keweenaw. I had a map, and I'm like, I know I need to go this way. So I kept driving until I saw a 2-track, and I turned. And I kept driving until I could see water through the trees in the distance. And I was giving her the beans to get back there, and it's a pretty nasty trail. So
I love that trail.
I do too. So I pop out on this trail, and I jump out of my Jeep, and I'm looking around, and I'm in the sand, and I could hear Lake Superior gently kissing the shoreline. And I could see pine trees and smell the spruce. It was amazing, right? There's an eagle cawing in the distance.
Is that what the sound they make?
It was like, caw, right, in the distance.
Sure.
Then I hear, "Hey, neighbor."
Son of
I looked over, and there's this dude in a built LJ with a tent set up and an awning and his girl and their kayaks and their puppy. He's like, "Oh, you made it out, did you?" I'm like, son of a gun. Like, I came all this way, did all that work to get here, and I got a dude literally right there. He ended up being super rad. I stayed the night anyway, just down from him a little bit on the shoreline. But he kept coming over, and I had to look like such a greenhorn because I didn't bring any wood. So I figured I'm in the UP. I'm going to find wood, right? Well, since it's a relatively known area, but not really, all the wood's gone, like all the dry wood.
Yeah.
So I've got an Oxyus or a MAP gas torch on this giant wet log, and I got the torch going so I can cook my dinner. He walks over and goes, "Need a little help, do you?" I'm like, No, I had to look like such this like lowlander.
Cooking my dinner in the smoke, if you don't mind.
Because he's from the UP, so he's looking at me like I'm some kind of special needs kid, right? Trying to figure this out.
I like my food with a nice mossy mesquite.
He walks back to his campsite and brings me like an ear of corn and a beer so I can hold myself over until my steak roasts in this MAP gas fuel. We're still Facebook friends, him and his girl, Cam and Jess. They're great folks. I hit them up once in a while, see what they're doing, but I'll never forget like all the work I did to get to nowhere, and I found a dude.
Right. Hey, one time, it was last year, I went up there with Mark of UP Jeeping fame, and we were looking for a place to camp. We're like, hey, let's go to that place. We get there. There's cars parked before it gets nasty.
Right.
And we're like, that's not cool. I wonder what's going on. We go in farther, there's another car parked. We go through that really nasty section, and we get to the beach, and we don't even have room to turn around. It is packed with cars and trucks and tents and people, I'm not kidding you, we could barely turn around to get the heck out of there.
That's not even cool.
Yeah,
No.
that's actually terrible. And they were probably like, "What are you doing here?" I'm
Yeah.
trying to find a place.
Oh, another person.
Yeah, well, there was
Son.
this older couple walking back. There's this old guy in cowboy boots with a revolver on his hip and
Nice.
his wife, and they were walking through the muck. Could you not? So I stopped and talked to them. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we have a family reunion out here every year. But the last weekend I
It's
was
not a
there.
park.
Yeah,
Find a park
last
with picnic tables and jungle gym or something.
Oh, people have weddings out at High Rock. There was a wedding at Brockway Mountain last weekend. But last weekend we were at that one place. We get all the way out there, and I'm crossing my fingers I'm not having a repeat of last year.
Right.
And we get there and look over to the left, and there's a CJ there and a tent and whatnot, kind of tucked back. And I look over to the right, and there's nothing. So it was pretty windy and breezy and wavy. We didn't hear a thing all night. So
I think the right's the better camping side for views, but I think it's probably worse for protection.
well, it was windy. We were right on the lake, and I had my ARB screen room set up. That thing worked like a champ.
Which
It
looked
was
awesome.
I know. I'm so excited about it.
I was
Usually,
I was awning shopping on the job the other day, and my partner's like, "Why do you need one of those things?" You know, my guy I work with said, "Why do you need one of those things?" I'm like, "'Cause it's rad."
Yeah.
So I showed him your setup, and I'm like, "See, I can just drive out, and I got a tent. Like, this is perfect, and it's like dry, and I'm right here by my Jeep, and
Yeah.
it's perfect. I can roll it up outside, and all the garbage stays outside. Like, why wouldn't you want one of these?"
Right.
yeah, there is one drawback.
Okay, I'm listening.
After you set it up, and you realize, hey, we're out of ice.
Yeah.
If you want to go anywhere, you got to tear it all back down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been one of my concerns with like a rooftop tent to begin with is if I want to go, if I have a base camp, I want to go exploring for the day, everything's got to come back down and get packed.
Yep.
You know, which is why I'd probably end up throwing my KTM on the bumper hauler and bring my bike with me.
Ooh, there you go.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
So go fart around in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know the best thing about it is you get in the tent and you can unzip the side that's next to the vehicle and get in your vehicle, and you know how that light comes on and all the bugs race to it.
Yep,
It doesn't happen because you got the screen around.
it's pretty nice.
Yeah. So I was sleeping in the Jeep last weekend, and my brother set his cot up in the tent, and it worked pretty well. I didn't have any bugs in my Jeep.
Yeah, that's never. I've done that, and it's not cool. Like, kill them. You hear them buzzing all night, and you're smashing them on the ceiling all night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, a couple weekends ago, you know how the inside of the JK hardtop is white?
Yep.
Thank goodness. I was trying to hang something up from the bar, and I looked, and I saw this giant freaking spider against the white of the back. Oh, it freaked me out.
He was there to kill the
That was
mosquitoes you let in.
Yeah, it was obviously before I had the screen room, but it was pretty nice. I really like it, and I think it'll work really well, and I probably won't use it all the time, but I also have a smaller awning off the back that they don't make a screen room for.
Okay.
So I ordered a $16 mosquito net off of REI and hung it up there, and I think that's going to work really well.
Sometimes overlanding is all about the ingenuity.
Right.
Now, if you're really smart, you would make Cindy Pope's bug dope or whatever and make a screen to fit that and sell it for $150 a pop, and you'd be rich.
Yeah, that's not a bad
We always
idea.
give away ideas on the internets.
Yeah.
There was your $1 million idea, Jim. I'm taking it.
Yeah, just give me some credit, I guess.
Yeah.
Hire me to be a photographer. I'll come with you and take pictures of it in action.
Yeah.
So I think we got a heck of a show already. Is there anything you want to touch on before we sign off for the evening?
No, I just thank you so much for having me on. I do enjoy the show. I wish I catch every episode, but I'll have to catch up. This weekend I'll be driving up to the UP, so there'll be a lot of seat time to listen to some podcasts. And
Awesome.
one more thing, like I mentioned all the sponsors and vendors for KOAR, but I also want to do a special thank you for my team that helps me out, I've got a graphic designer. Her name is Mandy Bueller. She probably does 99% of the work. And then Jack Flood and Christopher Oppenwanger and Taylor Koski. I always say his name wrong. I know it's Koski. It's not Koski. And I got the UPG thing. Mark Coco is helping out, and Azalee Meadows is added to those guys to the team this year.
Okay, I know Asa from the website. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Asa's awesome. He's the one that caught the Northern Lights at Trails End a couple of weeks ago and went paddleboarding with us.
Okay.
So we're a really great team that puts up with my idiosyncrasies, should we say, and brings me food and hugs when I'm hangry. But they're a really good bunch of kids, and I really wouldn't be able to do this without their help.
Sounds like you got a great team. We'll keep you in touch about the DNR contacts in the UP if I can make any for you. And,
awesome, that would be great. Yeah,
really loved having you on. Hope we'll get to KOAR one of these years.
Yeah, let's make it up there.
I would love that too. And then in the meantime, maybe we'll have to go kayaking or something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Sounds great. We could probably meet in Michigami or something.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
All right. Well, I think it's a wrap.
I think it's a wrap. I'm ready. Overland out.